Sublime magnificence.
Guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and runner one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey, Omari, thank you so much for having me. As always, this is an interesting week here on This Guy Hasn't Seen, where we trade things back and forth. The movies, the TV shows, the wrestling matches, the documentaries. I thought it would be very nice to button up our Apocalypse Now watching that we did last week with what some people it's almost become kind of a half joke at this point, but some are serious in their statements of Hearts of Darkness, the documentary film, is better than the film Apocalypse Now. So since that phrase has been said, and it's a very famous documentary, probably the most famous making of feature that has ever been. So I thought we should go ahead and check it out before we stall out with something else for a week, and then maybe I choose to bounce back to it, but more than likely I wouldn't. So we're just going to go ahead and snag this week and give you your rotation spot back some other time. But yeah, so this week we are going to cover the documentary feature about the making of Apocalypse Now. It is called Hearts of Darkness, journey, a filmmaker's apocalypse.
There we go.
Documentary that chronicles how Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now was plagued by extraordinary script, shooting, budget, and casting problems, nearly destroying the life and career of the celebrated director. It is put together by Fax Barr, George Hickenlooper, and then it is built around the work that Eleanor Coppola, Francis's wife, did during the filming of Apocalypse Now.
Hickenlooper.
George.
That's the name. That's a cool name. You don't know that many Hickenloopers. That's crazy.
A man looped some Hickens in his
Some
day.
Hickens in his day. What the Dickens? Looping my Hickens. Anyway, moving on. We got yes.
What were you anticipating from this, Omari, when I stole it from you last week?
I had heard the premise that this movie is, or that this documentary is often seen in a light that it is, to some, better than the film itself. Um, and so I was eager to watch it because, as I reflected, I really did like Apocalypse Now last week, which I think I said I liked Apocalypse Now the last thing, and I don't think I gave it a negative review at all. I was like, it's actually a pretty solid fucking movie. So I was
Time
like,
is an
if
endless
it's
void, and I don't even remember us having the conversation.
fair. Why did you freeze like I remember having the
For
conversation.
dramatic effect.
It's just like but yeah. No, so I like the movies and I'm like, this is better, then there must be some crazy stuff that happened on the set. So I was anticipating some I was anticipating some out there stories, but not quite what I got. Like, I was still genuinely like shocked and, well, not necessarily shocked, but educated on the thing. Nothing that I was expecting in the crazy hijinks for real, except for, I guess, maybe in something we'll touch on. Nothing I really expected to hear story wise ended up being the stories in a good way. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, despite getting informed what I was expecting. That makes
All
any
right.
sense.
All right. Well, let's get into it. So, it starts out for any DVD geeks out there who love to dig into the bonus features of their discs. It starts out as any other making of feature, uh first you have the story. The production company purchased the story. Oh, Orson Welles almost makes it. Look at that. No, he doesn't make it. He ends up making Citizen Kane. Francis Ford Coppola ends up making this movie called The Godfather. It's very successful. He makes The Godfather 2. He purchases the rights to make Apocalypse Now. That's going to be his next movie, self-funding the majority of it.
Yeah, I did
Uh,
not realize it was based off of story Heart of Darkness. You might have mentioned that last time, but I think I got it mixed up with like a Frank Dukes type shit.
mm-hmm.
Where it's someone saying this is what happens, or someone's account of it and then further movieified.
Yeah.
But no, it was a book that had nothing to do with the Vietnam War adapted to a movie about the Vietnam War.
Yep. And I would say, like, the first half of this documentary starts to play out, and it's really about an artist trying to make a film his way, and things out of his control keep happening to him. That's the first half of this documentary. um do you have any standout moments
So
around
I
here?
think I
One.
I think it's crazy. Like, I like the idea of filming in the Philippines because you couldn't do it in the war torn Vietnam for realsies.
Right.
But the fact that the Philippines was also war torn, and you're borrowing helicopters from the government that they are actively using in the war. So halfway during your shoot each day, they're just like, "Yeah, send 5 of them. We need them down south."
Yeah, I don't believe this is in the documentary, but I read somewhere that because the film's premise was a mission of the US military sending one of their own men to kill one of their own men, the US military would not participate in the production of the film, which is why he had to go towards military uh choppers from the Philippines and things like that.
Interesting. Huh. I get that makes a lot of sense why a government would not want to willingly participate in a portrayal that says we kill our own soldiers for doing what we told them to do. I can see why someone would willingly not want to do that, but I would have never thought of that as being an obstacle because it's just like, oh, you need soldiers for a movie. Well, I guess I also wouldn't have thought to actually go to the military and be like, hey, I need to borrow some soldiers for a movie. I feel like any movie theater or any military would be like, the fuck, better buy some fucking costumes from the store. The fuck,
Yeah.
type shit.
Mission Impossible used actual they cooperated with the United States Air Force for using actual planes and stuff from the from the Air Force. But
And
but
Top
no,
Gun as well.
one of my earliest what WTF moments here is Lawrence Fishburne.
14?
Mm-hmm.
That's a note on here too. Lord, I'm so sure it was 14.
He lied about his age to get on. That once this documentary was made in 1991, everyone was aware. I'm not sure what age he was claiming. He lied about his age, a common practice for men under 18 during American wars. So it was, but no, he lied about his age and was able to, I mean, because yeah, you a 14-year-old is joining this production in the Philippines.
Where there's an actual war going on, and y'all are just out in the jungle messing with real tigers,
Drinking, probably doing drugs.
drinking and drugs. Well, definitely one of them doing drugs, which I was expecting somebody to be doing drugs. But old dude that was doing drugs in the movie was doing the drugs in real life. And they're just like, were you on acid? Yeah, I dropped some acid. Yeah. What about Dulong Ridge? Nah, not Dulong Ridge. No, I was something else. I was on speed and pot and alcohol, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. Man was as the kids say, crossfaded. Because he was drunk and high. I believe is the terminology they use. But yeah, he was fucked up. So who knows what else was going on that set, but especially back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fact that
I mean, some of the interviews with Francis in this documentary, from the time, like some of his shirtless interviews, he seems a little jittery.
That's a good way to put it, jittery. I did think it was crazy that they recast the main character.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's something I always forget about until I'm watching this.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, we had filmed a good amount, but then we were like, yeah, we can't use this, so we got to recast the main character and reshoot everything. And then you enter Martin Sheen, who, if you couldn't tell just by looking at the two motherfuckers that the genes run strong, listening to a fucking young Martin Sheen before he comes on the screen talk about this movie literally just sounds like fucking Charlie Sheen talking about being in the movie. Oh, that is some strong genes. I have some relatives where their line of father to son genes is about that strong, where it's pretty much a cloning tank. But damn.
Emilio is right there too. He is just a tick off from Martin and Charlie. Yeah, the genes run strong, as you said, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, the trying to do these epic helicopter shots, and then 3/4 of your helicopters just start flying towards the horizon, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? What's happening?
Yeah, they called them out. They need them down south. And you can't, yeah, and you can't do shit about it. Like, you just can't. You just have to take it. Like, hey.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then working with a real fucking tiger was crazy. In the woods and all that shit, and they're like, we haven't fed him for weeks. Yeah, now we're gonna let him chase you. The tiger trainer just already like, yeah, he's got scars on his face and neck, and the dude just talking about, yeah, you just gotta be with tigers, they may bite a hole through your joint. They like to go for the joint. That's where they get you, try to immobilize you, and then you can't walk for a year.
Those characters are always so casual about
it. Yeah. It's just like, and then you can't walk for a year, but then after that, everything's fine, and but if they do it again, you got to put them down. Why are you letting it happen once? I love tigers. Tigers are one of my favorite animals. I have like sat there literally watching a video of a tiger roaring for 2 minutes. I get it. I'm not getting a pet tiger. The thing is going to try to eat me one day.
Uh-huh. One of the things I was thinking about when I was watching this was the different trials and tribulations that we would be going through back in our high school days, trying to record our little map videos and our teacher spotlight segments and
Remember
whatnot.
once we tried to do our own documentary about our own filmings, a mockumentary about ourselves.
Of course we did. We were so we were so up our own asses.
Yeah, yeah. While you were out there doing jock shit and whatever, we were out there. We were in the studio making films that only we were watching.
Who are you talking to?
Society,
Society.
the royal you.
Nobody watching us was doing jock shit.
Some of them might have been.
Somebody
Yeah. But were they in the studio?
grinding.
Yeah,
Right now.
yeah. That's all that matters. Maybe they weren't
But-
doing job shit, but we were in the studio, right? Which is the main point I'm trying to make.
Uh-huh.
Studio foe, don't you know? Anyhow, we were filming stuff. You're talking about that, like the map videos, the fucking
Yep. Yeah.
the
We
fight.
did a bunch of little videos. I just I feel like there's our apocalypse now was probably a giant because
It
there
was
was
the
this tradition.
briefcase.
There was this tradition at our school where we had our version of the standardized testing that goes on all across the nation. I know in some pockets of the country they are referred to as MAP testing.
Yeah,
That's an acronym
yeah, it's like
for
Missouri Assessment Program is what
okay,
we had for MAP. Down here, they had the FCAT, whatever the hell that stands
right.
for.
I know it's always a
But
different
those kind of
acronym,
tests, yeah.
but yeah,
Your
ours
state blank assessment, something else.
ours was the MAP test, and we had a pretty evolved video and technology department at our high school through the work of a specific teacher getting a ton of grants and a bunch of involvement with different things to raise the level of tech up higher than any other school in our region was doing at the time. And so during map testing week, we'd always have a special news broadcast every day coming straight out live out straight out of Studio 4, as well as surrounded by a series of comical and informative and educational short films made by the students to I don't know, I guess break up the monotony of the map testing day.
Yeah, also kind of hype it up and
Yeah.
in a silly fashion. Like you said,
And there
break up the
was
monotony.
there was kind of an unwritten tradition of there being a stunt fight video
Yeah,
in
it
the
started with the
collection
map
each
tricks.
year. Yeah, I would say there was even a couple before that, but the map tricks
Well,
by that
Maptrix was
student is
around
really
when we
what
had came in to the
set
school,
it off.
and that's
Yeah,
what they had like first started showing us. That was their like magnum opus of look at what students are doing these days. The Maptrix. Aha. This
right.
is what you can do. Like freshman year, they're telling us about the Maptrix. But yeah, we had
Yeah, I
done
just remembered we had mapped out our big sprawling gigantic
yeah.
stunt
So
choreography
yeah,
video
and
for
this scene
that
had
year.
taken yeah, and it took and that particular scene that you're talking about took place over like some time. Like there was a lot leading up to this. Because at first, like we said, we were in the studio. If we weren't in like the theater doing stuff for our extracurricular activities or whatever, we were probably in the studio shooting videos and shit. Just shooting our own shit. One day we get the idea, you, myself, Niz, I'm pretty sure. And I believe one of Niz's buddies was there. We're gonna do a fight scene in the downstairs of the school. And I think it was you that said, let's fight over a briefcase. You don't see what's in it. Okay, nice little premise for a fight. We're just doing a fight. What the hell? We need is a little short premise for that. So we do this fight. It's fun. We choreograph it. We film it. We go to edit it. We get a little upset with the friend because he gets hit in the head with the swing. Sells getting hit in the head beautifully. The attack itself, fantastic. Gets up and holds his stomach. And we didn't reshoot him getting up. It was a like cut to him getting up, holding his stomach. And we're like, aside from that, aforementioned teacher sees that and like, why don't you guys make this about the map test stuff? You guys are doing all these other map test videos at the time. Because it's kind of like a year-long thing to build up to the map test. And this is about senior year for us at this point. And it's where we had a lot more leeway to be chilling in the
Oh yeah,
studio.
if you're a second year Studio 4 person, you're thinking about your big map test video all year long.
Yeah.
And you're either compiling footage or you're building it in your brain.
Yeah, so we had started off with some like since Niz and I were working on a MapStar thing, if you guys remember OnStar, they used to have commercials that were fake call-ins.
That was a good one.
Yeah, we had that was our series.
The simple ones were always the best.
Yeah, that
the
was our
simple ones
series
were
for the year.
always the best.
Yeah, this is
on
the year
in our era.
Yeah, this is the year this is the year that we were doing the Larry Loser Lizard and all of that shit as well. As well as Larry had his video where he did the not Verizon. Who had the commercials? People do stupid shit. Somebody had one of those. I know because I was used as one of the you do stupid things taking map tests because I did the Fred dance on a chair and fell off.
Yep.
So
and we have footage of that in Studio 4 in the control room.
Yeah.
Probably very close to news going live.
Yeah, I think the news was going off the air.
Okay.
It was in the credits.
There's your celebratory dance for being the switcher on news, and then you sent yourself to the ground. Yeah, I think that was the same. That was a great year because I also did Fred Goes to Mr. Hampton.
Yes.
In the style of Tom Goes. I figured out how Tom Goes to the Mayor does the Tom Goes to the Mayor look, and yeah, and then I did a Tom Goes to the a Larry Goes to the Teacher.
You already said it. About filling in an answer in his map test or something like that. Yeah.
But I remember loving that one, and it was super easy and super simple. Literally just took pictures of Fred
we've already said Fred.
Yeah.
We've used real names on the channel. We've had one of people's real names on the show. Anyway,
the most brilliant short film I've ever seen anybody create. Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
To this day, I think about that video and I laugh inside so hard. It was one of the greatest things I ever saw. It truly was, and he's a mad genius for it.
I love that I got to be the sound effect.
But yes, we were doing
the fight for the briefcase. Teacher has an idea. Why not wrap this into your thing? So we initially filmed something where the guy's like gets to his house and he opens it up. He's like, it's a number 2 pencil inside. If you guys remember the standardized testing, you know why that's related. Like, oh, now I got this. We had an idea where he'd be like, thanks, MapStar. And we do that. We decided not to do that take. I believe that's where you came in because we also had an idea for a really cool fight scene. There's a park nearby the school, and they had a little not gazebo, what's it called? Pavilion.
Pavilion.
Yes, they had a pavilion in the middle of it, and we're like sunrise on top of the pavilion, a fight. We can do it as part two of this. Instead of the guy going home, we take him out. He got up holding his stomach anyway. We got to refilm the start. So since we're using this for the map test now, we're just gonna be me and Niz, Bill on the camera. We're gonna make this work. So we do all the planning. We're like, we tried during the day to block some stuff out on the pavilion. Cop comes by, hey, can't get up there, get down, can't do that. That's trespassing, blah, 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 breaking the rules. All right, well, we'll do it live. We're gonna stay up the night before, and we were getting close to the deadline of when we needed to like have this whole thing done.
As we
But we
always
were
were.
banking on getting this sunrise shot, and all three of us were locked the fuck into doing this. I'm telling my mom's like, you're spending too much time at school, like so late at night. You need sleep. You're a growing boy. Blah blah blah. That teacher got you holding up, Mom. It's not the teacher. We got a plan. We got a plan that we gotta do. No, the teacher needs to tell you to do that. Slavery's over. Don't he need to know he shouldn't be doing so and so? Mom, it's fine. Okay.
Slavery's over.
But we locked in. I eventually convinced her I can go. The three of us stay up overnight at the school. We reshoot the thing. There's some editing going on during the night. You were doing some of the edit. You were doing a lot of the editing for it. I remember that much. And then it gets to
I was
about
just doing a lot of editing in general too, as like Hampton's second hand at that point, because all of the videos that any student submitted still had to go through like an editor's process, and get cleaned up a little bit or get ready for sending up on the cable channel or on the yeah. And
local,
at that time, I
whatever.
think we even had our cable channel, so it
By
was
senior year, yeah, because of
yeah.
recess and shit like that. Man, we really did run shit senior year.
uh our little niche corners of the high school, we
Yeah.
ran it for sure.
That's what I'm saying. We're better in hindsight, being what it is. We were better off than we may have perceived at the time. That's all I'm saying. Like, wow, you know what? That actually was fine. Anyway, 6 o'clock in the morning. Sun's about to rise at about maybe 6:30. So we figure if we want to be at the top of the pavilion with the sunrise in the background, we need to go out while it's still night out. So let's go. So we get to the park. We got a perfect thing planned out. There's a little, before you get to the pavilion, there's like a little extra long road that's like just for no reason out to a parking lot next to like two abandoned basketball hoops and a street light and a random bench. I'm not sure what it's there for, but it was there and it was perfect for our purposes. So we're like, here's what we got. We're gonna have the fight in the basement. Omari shows up with the thing. Twain wants to know what's in the case. It's not much. We fight. What's his name wins? Or one of us wins. I want to say it had to have been him that won. Yeah, he wins. Cut to the park, or our idea. It's dark out. Cut to the park. He's going to make the drop off. Goes to the park, pulls up, take the case out, put it on the bench, and go. However, or no, sorry, he was going to walk up to the bench and drop it, not pull up in a car. He was going to walk up to the bench. So 6 in the morning, about 6:10 now that we've driven from the school. Get there, ready to shoot. Bill gets into position, opens up the camera, and this is under the street light. Bill, like, all right, get ready to go. And then he's like, wait. I don't remember the exact words you said, but I do know that it's at this moment, as I go over to the screen to look at what Bill is looking at, that Dwayne and I come to a real important realization. We're black. So we didn't show up on camera when the night was still dark. It's under a street light, and we still can't see him. I go under the street light. I'm like
And
a
this is
shade lighter
also
than him.
this is also early 2005. Cameras are not quite what they are today. And
Also
so
true.
yeah, without you having light projected onto the front of you, I'm never gonna see you. But we never considered that.
Not at all. Not any of the three of us for 1 second. And so we're like, oh,
And
this
yeah,
was
like you said, it's like this is going to air.
next week.
Yeah.
And we had like a whole 3-part thing planned, and we couldn't get part 2 finished because we needed part 2 to be on the or to lead to part 3, which was the fight on the pavilion. That said, we adjusted. We came in later in the day. We involved you in the scene as well. Niz comes up, makes the drop. You come, pick it up, get in the car, and then one of the better idea, I think, of what came out, considering the practicality of it all.
And
Shot
how it ended
of
up on
Niz,
film.
yes,
Yeah.
running behind the car, jumping on the car while it's moving, climbing up and reaching through the sunroof, grabbing you like, pull the car over, pull the car over. In the most like, not the wisest of decisions of how we did it.
No, yeah. It
but
was
damn
John
it, we
Wick.
got it done.
It was John Wick 20 years before John Wick.
But it was awesome because we were high school and because of the way we got it done. Like fucking sitting on the windowsill with the camera.
Yep.
And then the fight in the park and the extra talk, and then they cut out the third part after the pencil reveal. And then because we had one shot in it with the pan around, because we figured out how to do that in the basement shot, and we wanted to include it. Everyone goes, "Oh, you're a wannabe Matrix." Bitch, ain't shit Matrix about it. Except for that one shot. And we're ripping off the Matrix. Them niggas wasn't fighting over a number 2 pencil. The map test didn't ruin their life. While the other guy's talking about the map test saving lives. There was no dumb meat.
Yep. Oh man, it's all flooding back to me. I didn't remember me ending up on camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remembered how we ended up pivoting to the car sequence. And then also I remember how a certain teacher ruined it for us. And would not allow me to include it in the video as a one-take shot. Because we shouldn't have done it in the first place. And so I think I had to cut back and forth to it 2 different times to make it look like we had faked it. Yeah. A lot of nice things were ruined.
Yeah,
at that time.
because we
A lot
got
of
the second part.
creativity stifled.
The third part with the big reveal as to why we're fighting over it just never aired.
I'll tell you about, the second part of this documentary is about an artist trying to accomplish a vision. God damn it. And
Yes.
sometimes an artist needs to just be allowed to accomplish a vision. Isn't that right, Omari?
What vision did I take from you?
My title sequence for Black History Month on the Star News. And I know at this point I am under the realization that it is deeply troubling that I am fighting for the fact that you got to do the title sequence for Black History Month. But I worked on a project for about a week and a half.
I took your Black History Month thing?
And it was about 45 seconds long. And it was beautiful.
Oh, I believe you.
It was beautiful. It panned in and out between different historical figures of American history. It had a beautiful song along with it. It had a lovely graphic overlay. It had movement. It had shit going on.
Before you
And
reveal
Hampton
whatever I
goes,
did, I don't remember this situation at all, but I can guarantee you, people at home, whatever Bill had was better than whatever I apparently put out. Because I don't remember this.
Hampton took one look at it. One of the greatest, yes, it is just a 45-second title sequence, but it was one of the greatest things I had made when you just appreciate flow and having to do all of the things I did by hand, because we're still in an age where
Yeah,
it hasn't
early 2000s.
we don't have all of these plugins for your editing software to do all these cool things. I'm literally just doing frame by frame animation with this stuff. And like, yeah, I was super proud of it, and very similar to an opening of a TV show that we did for the cable channel that was also uh I was also told that it wasn't good. And I knew in my heart that it was one of the best things
I
I'd ever
like the
made.
longer opening.
But yeah, Hampton watched it once, immediately said, "That's too long." And I said, "Oh, no, it's not. We can play that right before. I mean, we have plenty of time on the news. Like this, it's beautiful. Fuck off. Like it's perfect." And then the next day, for our very first Black History Month, a generic gradient splash of a background in front of like green, or with like green words in like papyrus font or something like that, and just like a still image of just like Black History Month spotlight played over the Star News. And I turned to Mr. Hampton sitting next to me, because my computer was right next to his, because I was supposed to be his right hand man. And I just looked at him and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? He's like, "Yeah, I had Omari make that." It's like, "You insult me, sir."
Why not just have you make a shorter version? Why not just have you shorten it? Like, what is going on?
Because
Okay.
we were probably button heads at the time, because
Yeah.
he stifled my creativity very often.
Yeah.
I'm
But
not
no, I
gonna lie.
just thought it was
But yet
funny that
he
I was
acknowledged
like,
my quality, because I was in the position I was in all of his classrooms, and he covered for me a lot of times when I was doing bad shit, because I was making his TV shows for his cable channel get on the air. I was spending nights up there till like 9:30 sometimes, just like editing those stupid TV shows that I didn't get to produce or make or anything, but now I have to edit them because some random person in intro to studio class shot the bare bones of it, and we need to fill time.
or having to re-record soccer commentary because your soccer commentators knew nothing about the sport.
I don't remember that one specifically, but yeah, it was.
Brad and I having to do commentary for a soccer game, and neither of us watching soccer. So we're just talking about shit. It was outdoor soccer, there's no barrier, so the ball went out of bounds like 30, 40 times. And neither of us know it. It took us a while to realize that's a regular occurrence. Took us about try number 15 or 20 to realize, hey, maybe we should stop drawing attention to this. But at first we're like, out of bounds again. Man, if I were the coach, I'd try to talk to these kids about all these out of bounds things. Yeah, they should go. Oh, and he got burned on that one like a flambe on the broil. Broiled? Charbroiled. I'd say more when it's cooked, but uh high school.
Yep. And then wasn't there a bit about a bird?
Yeah, there had to have been. We neither of us watch soccer.
It was like
So
about a bird flying into the broadcast booth or something like that.
probably made something up about a bird flying
Like
into the
I
box.
have the memory of just like, oh my god, he just hit, or oh my gosh, he just hit Fred in the head. The bird just flew into Fred's head. I-
Probably trying to make up stuff because we were bored. Because they were just like, hey, commentate this soccer game. I
I think they would might have been me. I feel like I have the memory of sitting in the in the computer portion while you guys were in the interview room
or
and me
maybe
hitting
or
like,
okay, maybe we didn't come to the realization. I think maybe you just were like, hey, guys, it's outdoor soccer. Out of bounds are gonna happen a lot.
nobody's watching this. This is just a fill time on the cable channel. They've never done commentary and filming any of these sports before. It was probably just some silly thing that we were trying. I
Yeah.
don't even know if it
We
made
were
it on
trying to be
TV.
revolutionary.
Yeah,
Someone
like
told
Recess. That opening, Mr. Hampton. Ooh, I'm saying his name. I've said his name several times, but you stifled my creativity, but I also appreciate so much of what you did. But then also there were times where I knew I had made like the new greatest thing I had ever made, and then you're like, meh. And I was like, oh, you crush me. You crush me. You're like my number one influencer right now. And you're constantly just being like, meh. When I know in my guts that it's the best thing I had done. A
yeah.
very hardworking
Yeah.
a creative environment at
But
the
yeah,
time.
like I said, I told you earlier, I'm like, I don't even remember what I put out, but just knowing myself, especially in high school, I'm like, it was not anything like what you were producing at that time, especially if he told me like last minute to throw it together. So I'm just like, boop, boop. Yeah, Black History Month, woo.
Yeah. You were over on your side that he doesn't look at their screens, making on your third day in a row of making a Tekken music video to Linkin Park songs. And and he was probably like, Omari, make a title for African American History Spotlight, or yeah, Black History Month Spotlight or whatever for the news. I need it in 10 minutes. And
Remember
yeah.
one of those videos I deleted before even like exporting it, just because someone said, "I don't get it. What's this about?"
And then Omari happened.
I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. It's stupid." So I
Delete.
deleted the whole.
Select all, delete.
I worked on that for like 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. Yeah,
the
so
Heart of Darkness.
we've had our trials and tribulations. Um I don't know. I feel like
I love it.
anybody can enjoy a potential making of, but if you've been through that teamwork creative process and trying to get a vision out there to the finish line, and knowing how hard sometimes that can be just to get something to the finish line, and it's never how you dreamed it would be. um Anybody who's ever been in that situation can relate so strongly to these kind of films. So I think it's lovely that we spent our time chatting about our old history. Would you think about Hearts of Darkness?
Oh, I thought it was nice. I thought it was cool. Like I said, educational, shocking in a good way. There was some stuff I didn't need to see, like the people with the animals
Uh-huh.
and the death of said animals. That was what the moment as you mentioned earlier. Uh but overall, I always love those kind of things and the way they think about the little glimpses into the creative process of things when it comes to acting. Like his scene in the room by himself with him drinking beforehand, with him not really having any idea what to do with the character, who is this character, and the director just being like, it's you. And so when he's supposed to have a breakdown in the room, and I guess because he was also partially drunk anyway, he just kind of
It's incredibly drunk.
actually has a breakdown,
Hmm.
like with him and of himself, and they just filmed it for people to see. And those kind of things are always crazy where you're like, wow, that dude did so good in that scene. Well, that's because he was actually going through it. The Brando, dude, you're a legend. I get it. But come on, man. Didn't didn't read the damn source material at all. Got there, kept tried to rewrite everything every day to the point to where they just had to improv the scenes and just record him saying shit. And he's just like, I'm
I
done for the
can't,
day.
yeah, I can't think of any more lines today.
Like,
Yeah,
how
that's
good do you
that whole
have to
improv
be?
section
Yeah,
of
how
him.
good do you have to be for people to put up with that like, because he's amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying this kind of, I guess you could call it backhanded if you want to, but it's still a compliment that the dude could go through all this and people just willingly like, hey, it's the price you pay
I
for
mean,
this.
he doesn't work a lot after this. I mean, he's almost done at this point. He's already almost done. And you could say that's by his choice, and you could maybe say that that's because the legend of how difficult he was on this shoot started to grow.
Yeah. But yeah, he did do a great job in the movie. And with the fact that everything ended up being improv makes it great in its own aspect. Because it's like
Hmm.
the dude's just asking him questions off camera. Why are we even in Vietnam? We're here to do the things about. And then that's
Yeah.
it for today. I'm done. Try again tomorrow.
Yeah, we love a bit of improv on this show for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Improv is fun. Uh like when we were recording the soccer things. But yeah, how about you feeling Heart of Darkness?
Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. Like I was saying earlier, I kind of covered my feelings on it with the like, yeah. If you're connected to this, I think a lot of folks could enjoy it just as as an interesting documentary slice of life of another world and another time kind of thing. But also if you have dipped your toe into that creative process of trying to create something artistic and trying to finish it and overcoming those roadblocks and the thing changing over the course of you making it and it becoming something completely different but still something you're proud of. I think that's something that will really connect with you if you watch this documentary. Okay. Well, then, I guess upon your request, sir, we'll continue with some of the great American classics. And I will ask you to choose between A, B, and C.
Let's go with B.
We are going to watch Casablanca next week on This Guy Hasn't Seen.
There we go. Casablanca. There you have it. Casablanca. Haven't seen that one. Looking forward to it. Well, clearly, I mean that's the point of the show, I suppose. Anyway, if you want to see other stuff that we have or haven't seen, check that out on the channel. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube. Whenever we want podcasted, with a good friend of mine, good friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Super
Thank you very
Jazz.
much, as nature intended. Returning eventually to that. Bottom line is, I also have a Twitter and Twitch, Giotavi. That's Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Billy, you got anything else you want to say to the folks?
Oh, did you talk about the sports show?
Oh yeah, we got a sports show.
Yeah, so let me tell you something, brother. We got a sports show over here on Feo Grande that you gotta check out. It's a really good show that you're gonna really like. We talk about different sports, and we talk about baseball, and we talk about football, but we also talk about professional wrestling. Check it out!
Adios, this.